Have you ever noticed that every single day, you're trying to convince someone of something? Think about it. This morning you persuaded your kid to eat breakfast. You convinced them that cereal is better than cookies at 7 a.m. You were selling nutrition. At work you pitched an idea to your boss. You explained why your approach would save time and money. You were selling strategy. Last night you talked your friend into watching that new show on Netflix. You told them the acting is amazing, the plot twists are insane, you have to see it. You were selling entertainment. The truth is, selling isn't just something salespeople do. It's something every human does. Whether you're a teacher inspiring students, a parent guiding children, an entrepreneur pitching investors, a creator building an audience, or just someone trying to be heard in a noisy world, you are in the business of moving others. But here's the problem. Most of us were never taught how. We think persuasion means pressure. We think influence means manipulation. We think communication is just talking. It's not. In this audiobook you'll discover how persuasion really works. How great communicators influence others without manipulation. How empathy builds trust faster than any sales pitch ever could. And how everyday conversations can shape opportunities, careers, and relationships in ways you never imagined. If you enjoy learning about psychology, communication, and personal growth, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who loves learning, and subscribe to the channel. Let's begin. The age of human selling. There's an old saying that everyone is in sales. But for decades we misunderstood what that meant. We thought it meant pushing products on people. Convincing them to buy things they don't need. Using tricks and tactics to close deals. That's not selling. That's pressure. Real selling, real influence, real communication, is something far more beautiful. It's the ability to understand another human being. To see the world through their eyes. To feel what they feel. To offer something that genuinely helps them. Think about the last time someone truly influenced you. Not manipulated you, influenced you. Maybe it was a teacher who believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself. They didn't push you. They inspired you. Maybe it was a friend who talked you through a difficult decision. They didn't tell you what to do. They listened until you figured it out yourself. Maybe it was a leader at work who trusted you with a big project. They didn't micromanage. They empowered you. That's influence. That's communication at its highest level. And here's what's fascinating. In today's world, this skill matters more than ever. We live in an age of information overload. Everyone has access to the same data. The same facts. The same features. So what makes the difference? Connection. People don't buy products. They buy relationships. They don't follow ideas. They follow people they trust. They don't remember facts. They remember how you made them feel. This audiobook is about mastering that connection. Not through tricks. Not through manipulation. But through genuine understanding of how humans think, feel, and decide. Let's start with the first principle. The foundation of everything. Chapter 1, The New World of Selling. Close your eyes for a moment and picture a salesperson from 50 years ago. What do you see? Maybe a guy in a cheap suit. A briefcase full of samples. A script he memorized last night. A smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. His job was simple. Find customers. Push product. Close deals. Move on. And here's the thing, that approach actually worked for a while. Information was scarce. Options were limited. Customers had nowhere else to go. But today your customers have Google. They have Yelp reviews. They have Reddit threads. They have YouTube unboxing videos. They have Twitter rants and TikTok recommendations. Before you even open your mouth, they already know more about your product than you do. So what changed? Everything. The old model was about pushing. The new model is about attracting. The old model was about talking. The new model is about listening. The old model was about features. The new model is about trust. Let me give you an example. Imagine you walk into a store looking for a laptop. The salesperson immediately asks, budget? Brand preference? Screen size? They rattle off specs like a robot. Processor speed. RAM. Storage. You leave feeling overwhelmed. And confused. And honestly, a little annoyed. Now imagine a different experience. You walk in. The salesperson smiles genuinely and says, "Hey, welcome in. What kind of work do you do?" You tell them you're a writer who travels a lot. They nod thoughtfully and say, "Okay, so portability matters. Battery life matters. A comfortable keyboard matters. Am I getting that right?" You feel understood. You feel heard. They're not selling yet. They're learning. Then they show you two options. This one has amazing battery but the keyboard is a little cramped. This one has a perfect keyboard but it's heavier. What matters more to you? They're not pushing. They're guiding. And when you finally choose, they don't rush you to check out. They say, "Great choice. If you have any problems, here's my card. Call me directly." Who are you buying from? The first salesperson or the second? The second. Every time. Because the second person understood something the first person didn't. You don't buy laptops. You buy solutions to your problems. You buy tools that make your life easier. You buy from people who make you feel valued. This is the new world of selling. And it applies to everything. When you pitch an idea at work, you're not selling features. You're selling outcomes. How will this idea make your boss's life easier? How will it help the team? When you convince a friend to try a new restaurant, you're not selling food. You're selling an experience. A good time. A memory. When you ask someone on a date, you're not selling yourself. You're selling connection. Laughter. Possibility. The product is just the beginning. The real sale is always about the person on the other side. If this idea is helping you see communication differently, go ahead and like the video. It helps more people discover these concepts. Chapter 2, Attunement, Understanding Others. There's a phrase in psychology called theory of mind. It's the ability to understand that other people have thoughts, feelings, and perspectives different from your own. Sounds simple, right? But watch what happens in real conversations. Someone is talking. You're not really listening. You're waiting for your turn to speak. You're forming your response. You're thinking about what you want to say next. That's not communication. That's two people taking turns talking at each other. Great communicators do something different. They practice something called attunement. Attunement is the art of tuning into another person's frequency. Feeling what they feel. Seeing what they see. Understanding not just their words, but their emotions. Their fears. Their unspoken needs. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago I watched a therapist work with a young man who was deeply depressed. The young man sat in the chair with his arms crossed. He wouldn't make eye contact. He answered every question with one word. Most people would have pushed, asked more questions, tried harder. But the therapist just sat there quietly. After a few minutes he said, "You know, it must be exhausting carrying all that weight alone." The young man's eyes filled with tears. He didn't need answers. He needed to be seen. That's attunement. In business, in relationships, in everyday conversations, people are constantly sending signals about how they feel. The question is, are you paying attention? Let me give you a practical example. You're in a meeting. You're presenting an idea. One person in the room is nodding slightly, leaning forward, making eye contact. That's green light energy. They're with you. Another person has their arms crossed. They're looking at their phone. They haven't spoken in 20 minutes. That's not rejection necessarily. That might be discomfort, or confusion, or distraction. An attuned communicator notices both. They might say to the second person, "Hey, I'd love to hear your perspective. You've been quiet. What are you thinking?" Suddenly that person feels invited instead of ignored. They open up. They share concerns you didn't know existed. And now you can address them. Attunement is what separates great leaders from average managers. Great salespeople from order takers. Great friends from acquaintances. So how do you practice it? First, slow down. When someone is talking, resist the urge to interrupt. Resist the urge to solve. Just listen. Second, watch. Notice body language. Notice tone. Notice what they're not saying. Third, reflect. Say things like, "It sounds like you're feeling frustrated." Or, "I'm hearing that trust is really important to you." Or, "Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like you're worried about timing." When people feel understood, really understood, something shifts inside them. Defenses come down. Walls crumble. Connection happens. And connection is where influence begins. Chapter 3, Buoyancy, Staying Positive Through Rejection. Let's talk about something nobody enjoys. Rejection. Being told no. Being ignored. Being dismissed. It hurts. It stings. It makes you want to crawl into bed and never try again. But here's the truth that changes everything. Rejection is not personal. I know it feels personal. When someone says no to your idea, your proposal, your invitation, it feels like they're saying no to you. But they're not. They're saying no to a specific thing at a specific moment for reasons that have nothing to do with your worth as a human being. Maybe they're stressed. Maybe they're broke. Maybe they just ate a bad sandwich and feel terrible. Maybe they didn't understand you. Maybe they need more time. Maybe they're saying no today so they can say yes tomorrow. The point is, you don't know. And successful communicators have learned something called buoyancy. The ability to bounce back. To stay afloat. To keep going when the waves get rough. Think about a cork in water. You can push it down. You can hold it under. But the moment you let go, it shoots right back up. That's buoyancy. That's resilience. That's what you need in a world full of no's. Let me tell you about a man named Rick. Rick was a sales rep for a software company. Every day he made 50 calls. Every day 49 people said no. One person said yes. That's a 98% rejection rate. Most people would quit after a week. After a month they'd be broken. But Rick showed up every morning with the same energy. Smiling. Optimistic. Ready. A colleague once asked him, "How do you do it? How do you handle hearing no 49 times a day?" Rick smiled and said, "I don't hear 49 no's. I hear 49 almost yes. Every no tells me something. It tells me what doesn't work. It tells me what to adjust. It brings me closer to the next yes." That's buoyancy. It's not about pretending rejection doesn't hurt. It's about refusing to let rejection define you. So how do you build buoyancy? First, separate your identity from your outcome. Your idea got rejected. That doesn't mean you're a failure. It means an idea didn't work. Try another one. Second, look for the lesson. Every no contains information. What can you learn? What can you do differently next time? Third, keep perspective. One no is one moment in one day. It's not your whole life. It's not your whole career. It's just one no. And fourth, surround yourself with people who lift you up. Buoyancy is easier when you're not alone. Share this with someone who needs a reminder that rejection is just redirection. Sometimes the best things come after the hardest no's. Chapter 4, Clarity, Finding the Real Problem. Most people think persuasion is about having the right answers. It's not. Persuasion is about asking the right questions. Because here's the thing. People rarely tell you what they really want. They tell you what they think they want. They tell you the surface problem. But underneath, there's always something deeper. Let me give you an example. A man walks into a hardware store. He says to the clerk, "I need a drill." Now, does he really need a drill? No. He needs a hole in the wall. But wait, does he really need a hole in the wall? No. He needs to hang a picture. But wait, does he really need to hang a picture? No. He wants his home to feel beautiful. He wants to create a space that makes him happy. He wants his family to feel proud when they visit. The drill is just the surface. The real need is emotional. And if you don't understand that, you'll sell him the wrong thing. The same thing happens in every conversation. Your employee says they need a raise. But maybe what they really need is recognition. Maybe they need to feel valued. Maybe they need more responsibility or more flexibility. Your friend says they're stressed about work. But maybe what they really need is permission to rest. Maybe they need someone to tell them it's okay to slow down. Your customer says your price is too high. But maybe what they really need is reassurance. Maybe they need to feel confident that their investment will pay off. Great communicators don't take the first answer. They dig deeper. They ask questions like, what does success look like for you? What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? If you could change one thing about your situation, what would it be? How does this problem make you feel? These questions do something magical. They show the other person that you genuinely care. That you're not just trying to push your agenda. That you want to understand. And when people feel understood, they trust you. And when they trust you, they're open to your influence. Let me tell you about a consultant I know named Sarah. Sarah works with struggling companies. She walks into boardrooms full of stressed executives. They always start the same way, we need more sales. That's our problem. Most consultants would jump straight to sales strategies. New campaigns. Better advertising. More leads. But Sarah doesn't. She asks, tell me about your customers. What are they saying? What are they complaining about? What do they love? She asks, tell me about your team. How are they feeling? Are they burned out? Are they excited? Do they believe in what they're selling? She asks, tell me about your product. What problem does it really solve? Who does it serve best? And slowly, the real problems emerge. It's not sales. It's culture. It's not marketing. It's product market fit. It's not leads. It's trust. By the time Sarah finishes asking questions, the executives aren't stressed anymore. They're clear. They know what to do. That's the power of clarity. It's not about having answers. It's about finding the right questions. So next time you're trying to influence someone, resist the urge to jump to solutions. Pause. Ask. Listen. Dig deeper. The real problem is always hiding beneath the surface. Chapter 5: The Emotional Side of Influence. Here's something psychologists have known for decades. Humans are not rational decision makers. We like to think we are. We like to believe we weigh pros and cons. We analyze data. We make logical choices. But neuroscience tells a different story. The parts of our brain that process emotion are connected to everything. When those parts are damaged, people can't make decisions at all. They get stuck analyzing forever. They can't choose. Why? Because every decision, every single one, is emotional at its core. We feel first. We rationalize second. Think about your last big purchase. A car. A phone. A vacation. Did you buy it because of the specs? Because of the spreadsheet you made comparing features and prices? Or did you buy it because of how it made you feel? Because it felt right? Because you could imagine yourself driving that car, holding that phone, relaxing on that beach? The specs came later. The justification came later. The feeling came first. This is the most important lesson in influence. If you want to move people, you have to move their hearts. Facts inform. But emotions inspire. Let me tell you a story that proves this. Years ago, a charity was raising money for children in Africa. They tried 2 different approaches. The first approach showed statistics. Charts and graphs about poverty. Numbers about malnutrition. Data about how many children needed help. The second approach showed one child. A photograph of a little girl with big eyes and a thin face. Her name was Amina. She was 7 years old. She walked 3 miles every day for water. Which approach do you think raised more money? The second one. By a massive margin. Because Amina wasn't a statistic. She was a person. A story. A feeling. You can't feel 20 million children. But you can feel one little girl. This is why storytelling is the most powerful tool in communication. Stories bypass the logical brain and speak directly to the heart. When you tell a story, the listener's brain lights up as if they're experiencing it themselves. Mirror neurons fire. Emotions rise. Connection happens. Facts tell. Stories sell. So how do you use this in everyday communication? When you're pitching an idea at work, don't just list benefits. Tell a story about a customer who used your idea and transformed their business. When you're asking someone on a date, don't just list your qualities. Tell a story about something you love. Let them feel your passion. When you're trying to motivate your team, don't just give a speech. Tell a story about someone who overcame impossible odds. Let them feel what's possible. People will forget your words. They will forget your data. But they will never forget how you made them feel. Comment below and tell me, do you think persuasion is a natural talent or a skill anyone can learn? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Chapter 6, The Science of Communication. Let's get practical for a moment. Because understanding emotions is one thing. But how do you actually communicate in a way that builds trust and influence? There's a famous study by psychologist Albert Mehrabian that breaks down communication into 3 parts. Words, tone, body language. According to the research, words account for only 7% of what people take away from a conversation. Tone of voice accounts for 38%. And body language, facial expressions, posture, gestures, accounts for 55%. Think about what that means. You can say the perfect words. You can have the best argument in the world. But if your tone is flat and your body is closed off, people won't believe you. Let's break this down. First, tone of voice. Your voice is an instrument. It can convey confidence or uncertainty, warmth or coldness, excitement or boredom. When you're trying to influence someone, pay attention to your tone. Speak slightly slower than you think you need to. Pause at key moments. Let your voice rise and fall with emotion. Monotone is the enemy of influence. Variety creates engagement. Second, body language. Have you ever talked to someone whose arms were crossed the whole time? How did it feel? Distant, right? Defensive. Have you ever talked to someone who kept looking at their phone? Dismissive. Unimportant. Great communicators do the opposite. They face the person directly. They lean in slightly. They make eye contact. They nod to show they're listening. Their hands are open, not hidden. These signals say, I'm here. I'm present. You matter. Third, and this might be the most important, active listening. Most people listen just enough to form their response. They're not really hearing you. They're waiting for their turn to speak. Active listening is different. It means giving the other person your full attention. It means reflecting back what you heard. It means asking follow-up questions that show you're truly engaged. Try this in your next conversation. After someone speaks, pause for a moment. Then say, let me make sure I understand. You're saying that, and then summarize their point. Watch what happens. They'll feel heard. They'll feel valued. And they'll open up even more. Because here's the secret that most people miss. The person who feels most understood in a conversation is the one who walks away thinking you're brilliant. Not because you said brilliant things, but because you made them feel brilliant. That's the science of communication. Words matter. But tone, body language, and listening matter more. If you're enjoying this audiobook so far, don't forget to like the video. It helps more people discover these ideas. Chapter 7, The Power of Storytelling. Let's go deeper into storytelling because it deserves its own chapter. Human beings have been telling stories for 40,000 years. Before writing. Before cities. Before agriculture, we had stories. We sat around fires and told tales of hunters and spirits. Of love and loss. Of heroes and monsters. Why? Because stories are how we make sense of the world. They're how we remember. They're how we connect. Neuroscience now explains why. When you hear a fact, say, the brain has 86 billion neurons, a small part of your brain activates. You process the information. You store it. You move on. But when you hear a story, everything changes. Your sensory cortex lights up as if you're experiencing the events yourself. Your motor cortex activates. Your emotions engage. Your brain releases oxytocin, the chemical of trust and bonding. Stories literally change your brain chemistry. This is why the most influential people in history were storytellers. Jesus told parables. Buddha told tales. Martin Luther King Jr. painted pictures with words. They didn't give PowerPoint presentations. They told stories. So how do you become a better storyteller? Start with structure. Every good story has 3 parts. A beginning that introduces a character you care about. A middle that presents a challenge or conflict. An ending that shows transformation or resolution. That's it. Character. Conflict. Resolution. Let me give you an example from business. Instead of saying, "Our software increases productivity by 30%. Tell a story. Meet David. David runs a small marketing agency. He was working 80-hour weeks. He was missing his kids' soccer games. He was exhausted. Then he found our software. Now David leaves the office at 5. He coaches his son's team on Saturdays. And his agency grew 40% last year. See the difference? The first version is data. The second version is David. You can feel David's exhaustion. You can feel his relief. You want David to succeed. That's the power of story. In your own life, start collecting stories. Stories about customers you've helped. Challenges you've overcome. Lessons you've learned. Moments that changed you. When you need to persuade someone, don't reach for a statistic. Reach for a story. Because statistics appeal to the mind. But stories appeal to the heart. And the heart always wins. Chapter 8, Serving Instead of Selling. There's a mindset shift that separates the best communicators from everyone else. It's the shift from selling to serving. Most people approach conversations with a hidden agenda. What can I get from this person? How can I convince them? How can I close this deal? Even if you don't say it out loud, people feel it. They sense when you're pushing. They sense when you have an agenda. And it makes them defensive. But when you shift to serving, everything changes. You're not trying to get something. You're trying to give something. You're not pushing. You're helping. Let me tell you about a financial advisor named Michael. Michael was brilliant. He knew everything about investments and retirement planning. But his clients didn't trust him. They felt like he was always selling something. One day Michael changed his approach. Instead of starting with products, he started with questions. Tell me about your life. What matters to you? What keeps you up at night? What do you dream about for your kids? He listened for hours. He took notes. He learned about their fears and hopes. Then he came back with a plan. Not a product pitch. A plan designed around their life. Their goals. Their values. The clients didn't feel sold to. They felt served. They felt understood. They felt cared for. And guess what? They bought everything Michael recommended. Not because he pushed. Because they trusted him. This works in every context. When you're leading a team, serve your people. Help them grow. Help them succeed. They'll follow you anywhere. When you're building relationships, serve your friends. Show up for them. Listen to them. Support them. They'll be there when you need them. When you're creating content, serve your audience. Solve their problems. Answer their questions. Entertain them. They'll become loyal followers. Serving isn't manipulation. It's genuine care. And genuine care is the most persuasive force in the world. Share this with someone who leads a team or runs a business. This one mindset shift changes everything. Chapter 9: Small Habits That Build Influence. Influence isn't built in big moments. It's built in small daily habits. The way you greet people. The way you remember names. The way you follow up. The way you make people feel in ordinary moments. These tiny behaviors compound over time. They create a reputation. They build trust. They make people want to be around you. Let me share 5 small habits that will transform your communication. Number 1. Remember names. When you meet someone new, repeat their name immediately. Use it in conversation. Associate it with something memorable. When you see them again, use their name right away. People love the sound of their own name. It signals that you see them. That they matter to you. Number 2. Ask better questions. Instead of "how are you," which gets a fine or good, ask something deeper. What's the best part of your week so far? What are you excited about right now? What's challenging you these days? These questions show genuine interest. They invite real conversation. Number 3. Give genuine compliments. Notice something specific about someone and mention it. I love how you handled that meeting. Your energy is contagious. You have a real gift for making people feel comfortable. Specific compliments land. Generic ones bounce off. Number 4. Practice presence. When you're with someone, really be with them. Put your phone away. Make eye contact. Listen without interrupting. Nothing builds trust faster than full attention. Number 5. Follow up. If someone shares something important, a goal they have, a challenge they're facing, a birthday coming up, write it down. Follow up later. Ask how it went. Show that you remember. These small gestures separate acquaintances from trusted relationships. Try one of these habits today. Just one. Notice what happens. People will open up. They'll trust you more. They'll want to help you. Influence isn't about big dramatic moments. It's about small consistent actions that say, "You matter to me." And subscribe to the channel for more powerful ideas about success and psychology. Chapter 10: The Future of Human Persuasion. We're living through a technological revolution. Artificial intelligence can write emails, generate content, answer questions, analyze data, predict behavior. Machines are getting better at everything. But here's what machines can't do. They can't feel empathy. They can't read a room. They can't understand unspoken emotions. They can't build genuine trust. They can't make someone feel truly seen and heard. The more technology advances, the more valuable human connection becomes. Think about it. When every company uses AI chatbots, the companies with real humans become rare. When every piece of content is generated by algorithms, the creators with authentic voices stand out. When automation handles transactions, relationships become the differentiator. The future belongs to people who can connect. People who can listen deeply. Who can understand emotions. Who can tell stories that move hearts. Who can build trust that machines can't replicate. These skills aren't becoming obsolete. They're becoming priceless. So if you're worried about AI taking your job, don't be. Learn to connect. Learn to persuade. Learn to understand humans. Because no machine, no matter how smart, will ever replace the feeling of being truly understood by another person. That's the future of human persuasion. It's not about tricks or tactics. It's about empathy, presence, care, connection. And that future is already here. The new world of selling where trust matters more than tactics. The power of attunement and truly understanding others. The buoyancy to keep going through rejection. The clarity to find real problems beneath the surface. The emotional side of every decision. The science of tone and body language. The magic of storytelling. The mindset of serving instead of selling. The small habits that build influence. And the future of human connection in a digital world. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this, it's this. Persuasion isn't about pressure. It's about understanding people. It's about empathy. It's about trust. It's about connection. In a world full of noise and automation, human connection is more powerful than ever. You have the ability to make people feel seen. To make them feel heard. To make them feel valued. That's not manipulation. That's a gift. Use it wisely. If this audiobook helped you think differently about communication, like the video, share it with someone who would enjoy it. And subscribe for more powerful insights. Thank you for listening. Now go out there and connect.